What I want to talk about now is the next part of that. So having produced a report, we might now want to look at Analyzer. So the Analyzer tool here, going back to our browser that we just created, this button here is the button that activates Analyzer. So here, it's called Analyze. So here, if we click on that button, then it opens the Analyze tool. Can you see that there is a breadcrumb here? So this has gone from transaction windows to Analyzer. If we wanted to get back, we can just use the breadcrumb to get back to there. Essentially, the Analyze tool has two sides. We've got the left-hand side, which enables us to state what data we want to use, and the right-hand side here, which is all about presenting the data, and that's what we're going to see just now. So in here, if we go in, and the first thing that we want to do is to select the data. So I've only got in the report one value, one column of values, and its amount. But if I had budgets or forecasts, those would be presented in here. So at the moment, I only have amount, so I can just show the amount. If we had budgets and forecasts, you could choose to show them separately, or you could choose to show them combined. The next one, sort of helpfully labelled 2, is to state what we want to spread those values over. So if we want to spread those over cost centre, then here we've got all of our cost centres, and there we have all of the amounts. Very simple report, but you get the idea. If I want then to do account within cost centre, so here is the cost centre, there are the accounts, and those are the results. Okay, so that is the account within cost centre. Drill downs. What's Will done there? Welcome back. Sorry, just lost my flow here. So oh right, sorry. Sorry, this will be edited out of the recorded version. What we need to do here is get back to Analyzer. So can you see here in the breadcrumb, it's gone from here through Analyze to Information Browser to present this. To get back to Analyze, we just need to click on that. And that then takes us back to the tool so that we can do the next thing. We can apply some further filtering here. So here, if I use this, I can then say things like, I just want to use specific accounts or look at specific cost centres, and there are more in that particular list. To do that, you just literally highlight the ones that you're interested in, and then you click OK. So that's the data set that I'm interested in, and you'll see that the table changes accordingly. To get back out of this filtering option, you just click the Go Back button, which is there, and that then takes you back to the 1, 2, 3 buttons. Okay, and I've got my data set here with the filter on. We can add dimensions or fields by using this field list as well. So the field list there, if I click on that, I've got a list of fields within the report that are available to me, and I can just realize I need to go with that. I can drop those columns into the report here. So if I click on that and drag in the period, then it's produced the period there with the results in by period, which I think is really quite neat. And you don't need to be a reporting guru to make this work. At the end of the day, this is just just like a pivot tool, isn't it? Which we're all very familiar with. if we move on, we can then group things here and change the different views across the top here. So these things here, I've got a different view, so I can go a chart view. I can add in different levels of details. So what I've got up here, sorry, is the chart and the account by using the drill down. And I can do different sorts of searches here to refine the data. And if I'm happy with it, so I've got a picture that I like or I want to keep, I can save that too. So if I click that, I can give that a name and maybe a description. And if we click on that, that's then saved that. And when we come in again to have a look at this browser, you can see the saved searches just there. And that's the picture that we just used. Okay. Yeah, if you I'm just logging into here. So if you go into if we just go into system for a moment. So I go into system administration. Okay. In the access control, there is here called objects access.
Yep.
And that's what gives you access to the objects, and that's what controls who can see what, and that's where that level of control is. Okay.
But these are all predefined predefined objects, and they're predefined. They're not user defined in any way.
These are all predefined. I mean, you can do user defined ones, but we want to just keep it simple.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
These are user defined objects, and those are your roles. It works very much like the menu access screen that we all know and love.
Sorry, before Ben goes on, is there any other questions? Please take yourself off mute if you need to. Okay, we'll carry on then, Ben.
There is a question. So Lisa C.
Okay, so I didn't see that, so Lisa.
Yeah. Is it possible to share? At the moment, it isn't. And one of the drawbacks we're going to, when we go, because the next step of the evolution, if you remember my evolution thing, is really workspaces, which we're going to look at in a few weeks' time, I think. And one of the drawbacks with information pages and then workspaces is that some of these reports that we create here in the information browser can't actually be published through those tools. I'm sure they will be eventually, because as we all migrate to be in the web, they will have to be. But at the moment, if you can't sort of share back to the desktop from here. You can share browser templates from the desktop to the web, but you can't share back. Can you share these reports as private global? Yes, you can. But you see here, these are shared and those are private. So if you wanted to create a report that was for you yourself, then you would put it in this private folder. And the shared thing works very much like the browser template. So yes, by putting them in there, you're potentially sharing them, but the users with whom you want to share it have to have the right access to. So by putting a report in there doesn't necessarily mean that you have shared it with somebody. It's potentially available to be shared with somebody, provided they have the right access, which is very much the same as what happens in the desktop. So reports. So these reports here. So within Common, if I go into Common and click on reports, then from Common I have this really, I don't think I made clear in the presentation. This is where I can see all of the specific modules, and I could actually write a report from within Common using any of these modules and any of these objects, provided I have access to them. Within the other modules, so if I go into accounting, for example, there is going to be a reporting option in here. And if I click on the reporting tool here, create reports, I am taken straight into the accounting option. And if I wasn't logged in as a super user or a system administrator, I would only be able to see accounting, and I'd only be able to see the specific objects that I've been given access to. So it's quite handy when I'm writing these. I actually quite like to go into the module and then pick up the create report from there, because I'm probably wanting to save the report within that area as well. I'm not quite sure if we have anybody from an HR background in here, but if we went into personnel, then I've got a report option in here. I've got a quick HR inquiry. Let's just have a quick look at this. So I've got a name, and I've got all sorts of things in here. If I click the result, then I've got a very simple table in here. What if I wanted to do a count of people within this position? Well, exactly the same as within the browser template. There is, if I click on here, there is, oh, come on, there is expressions. Okay, so if I click on expressions here, this enables me to write expressions. Now I am struggling a bit at this resolution, so I'm just going to cheat and make it a bit smaller, make it a bit bigger so we can see. So here I've got in this one place the normal expressions and then the statistical expressions. Those of you who are used to the information browser, the sort of browser template, these are two different tools in that environment, but here they're in the same place. To create one, we just click new, and we've got to give it a name. So if we just give it a name, maybe like count, and this could be head count. Okay, and the expression is just number 1. And I can do a running total if I wanted to, and it has a sum, sorry, and I want it to have a vertical sum. And if I click OK now, hopefully what we will do here, if we click on here, is I've got this 1 here, and I've got my head count there with 1, and I've got 1 person in there, I've got 2 people in there. So that's a quick way of doing a head count, so that you can do, this is obviously number of heads, not your FTE number. Okay, if I wanted to save that, then I can just quickly click save, and exactly like the browser template, it remembers where it was saved before. I can make some changes here, so I can say run automatically. I could give it a different name here if I wanted to, or if I wanted to overwrite it, I can just leave that there, and I can click save, and that will then save that browser template. If I want to remove a browser template, then I come into here, and I can click on this and remove, and that will remove the browser from the inquiry. Okay, let's go and have a look at analyze. To do that, it is best to pick a report with some data in it. So we'll go and see if we can find a report. And I've got this one called analyze test. If we click view result, we've got a result here, and it doesn't really matter that as long as we've got some data in here. Like I said, if there was 2 amounts in here, we would be able to use those. Click on the analyze tool, and this is the screen we saw previously. Okay, so we want to start our analysis. So I'm going to go in here, and like we did before, select amount. So it's already sort of trying to build that, and I can say, okay, I want to perhaps do that by period, and then perhaps I want to do it by account. Okay, so we've got that. Within here, look, we can change, we can ascending or descending order, and also we can filter things. So I can say, actually, I just want to do those ones. So I know I showed you the filter tool earlier, but I'm just showing it also available in here. I can click back on that, and I can clear the filter and click OK, and away we go. We're back to where we are. Can you see here, this is page 1 of 55, and there's all these other pages going over to page 55, which is the last page. That is controlled by this option here, rows per page. So if we click on that, I could show all, or 500 or 100 in a row, whatever we wanted to have. Okay. If we scroll down here and we want to group by, so let's say I want to group by the transaction type, then that's shown the different transaction types, and this is the different amounts that have been posted during those particular periods. Probably would have been better to do the other view, but you get the other way around. So you have period along the top and the transaction type there, but you get the idea. I can then toggle between these options here to present different types of graph. Some of them are a bit busy with the amount of data that we've got in here. So if we come into the filter bar and say, actually, I'm only interested in, let's go to transaction types. I'm only interested in these transaction types. That should make it a little bit, okay, not a lot clearer, but you see what we can do. Okay, if I then go on this chart, I get this. It's all pretty good, isn't it? All great. One of my personal favourites is this one. If this is going to work for me, it's not not playing. Oh, they've changed it. Although these were greyed out, they still used to be able to work. And these area charts, the idea was with these things, if you've seen them before, the larger the square, the bigger the significance for you. So that's what you've got there. You've also got dials and things you can produce from this data. In terms of exporting the data, we can put it out to Excel. We can edit with the chart settings, and I can open this in a new window if that's what I want to do. Okay, so if I want to save that, we just click the save button at the bottom there, and that gives us an opportunity to save the chart and retrieve it at another time. If I wanted to clear all the filters and start again, then I can do that, and we can start again from the raw data and build it up. Okay, so that is analyze. I'm going to use a breadcrumb to go back to the data. I could, of course, change the data in here and then start the analyzer tool again. But the intention here was just to show you that it really isn't that scary. It's a really great tool to use. It's just a question of playing with it and getting some data together and working with it to create reports. And you can see how easy it is to save the reports and then to retrieve the reports and edit them, take the reports out to the analyze tool and see what you can get from the system.